Hello and welcome to Module 2 of the Rework e-learning video series. My name is René Feudel and I work with the Berater in Austria. And in this video we are going to deep dive into the heart of modern work. Bottom-up user-driven coworking and coworking spaces. Bottom-up user-driven coworking. That does sound like a mouthful, but I promise at the end of this video you will know your way around. This video, we want to equip you with the knowledge and competence to understand what makes co-working spaces bottom-up and user-driven, compare traditional workspaces with collaborative, community-led practices and models, design a co-working concept that reflects users' needs and values, and collaborate in teams using co-creation methods and user personas. Of course, this is only a video and you will not collaborate with others while watching it, although in a sense we are collaborating in knowledge creation right now, which means that the reflection, usage of knowledge and collaboration with others is in your hands. But don't worry, I will give you a hand on your way there. Before we dive in though, I invite you to pause this video and think. What do you think does bottom-up user-driven co-working mean? Meet Nuriki. Nuriki studied IT and digital humanities and has only recently started working in a medium-sized company that specializes in artificial intelligence. While studying, he had student jobs that left him with a lot of flexibility. When he got his job, he was excited. It had it all. Responsibility, his favorite topics, an international organization, and a young team. But soon he noticed that something didn't quite fit his vibes. The structure seemed rigid and hierarchical. His once beloved flexibility was gone. Only 5 months later, he walked away from the organization. What Nudike experienced is something many young professionals experience nowadays. His world of work was different from the world of work in his former organization. While he seeks autonomy, flexibility, and sense of purpose in his work, his organization was still traditional, rigidly structured around hierarchies that didn't allow for much autonomy and flexibility. What Nudiki experienced then is something many young professionals experience. It's called quiet quitting and can be considered part of the Great Resignation. Bottom-up user-driven co-working and collaborative workspaces are one answer to this issue. These spaces are much more than shared tasks. Some of them are spaces where the users, Nuri, young professionals, freelancers, entrepreneurs, and most importantly, you are the architects. But before we dive in, I want you to pause for a moment and think about your ideal day at work. What does it look like? How does it feel? What structures, amenities, and culture influence it? Keep that in mind. Now, let's see how a bottom-up, user-driven co-working space is designed to deliver exactly that. So what does bottom-up, user-driven co-working space really mean? A traditional workspace is top-down. Here the management decides the layout, the rules, the culture. People have assigned desks, defined working hours, and daily work environment is embedded in clear hierarchies. People might collaborate with each other, but only within set boundaries. Co-working, on the other hand, is a work arrangement where professionals choose to work in a shared communal setting rather than in isolation. A co-working space is a physical environment that provides the shared setting. It offers flexible access to desks, offices, meeting rooms, and amenities like Wi-Fi and coffee. Its primary purpose is to provide not just a place of work, but a professional community that fosters networking and collaboration. Bottom-up, user-driven co-working spaces, though, go one step further. While co-working spaces can also be designed in top-down ways, in bottom-up, user-driven co-working spaces, the power starts within the people who actually use these spaces. They don't just work, they help shape the culture, choose the tools, and influence how the space evolves. It's a living system constantly improving based on the needs of its members. This approach fosters a sense of ownership and leads to clear benefits. First, open leadership models where authority is distributed among members. Second, community-led decision-making, where members actively participate in the space's governance. This creates a strong sense of belonging, where members feel invested and connected to the space. And finally, flexible structures, where the space physically and culturally adapts to users' feedback. These benefits are built on five core values: community, prioritizing people and connection over profit; openness, sharing ideas and tools freely; collaboration, working together across different projects and backgrounds; sustainability, focusing on a positive impact on people and the planet; and accessibility, creating an inclusive and welcoming for everyone. These aren't just buzzwords, they are the foundation for a more human-centered way of working. For VET educators and learners, this is crucial. It's no longer enough to just teach technical skills. We need to prepare for how and where we will work. Understanding co-working is about more than finding a job. It's about learning to thrive in flexible collaborative environments. It's about developing skills in communication, self-management, and teamwork. This approach prepares young people to be not just employees, but creators, collaborators, and change makers who can actively shape their own work lives. Let's look at real-world examples. Impact Hub Athens is one such place. It's a vibrant co-working and innovation space focused on social entrepreneurship and community building among young professionals in flexible, resource-rich settings. Impact Hub Athens integrates hands-on learning, flexible membership, and project-based collaboration. It's known for engaging learners directly in shaping the space through participatory and practices, customized modules, and local partnership. Or picture Forward Space located in Bern, Estonia. Forward Space offers an inclusive and dynamic co-working environment with 24/7 access, high-speed Wi-Fi, and flexible work zones. It is deeply community-oriented, built through collaboration with local professionals, startups, and investors. The space regularly hosts networking events and training, making it a true learning and collaboration hub led by its members' evolving needs. Then there's Working Space Madrid. It's a non-profit, community-driven co-working initiative supporting professionals in creative and tech industries. Known for its peer mentoring, skill-sharing events, and professional development workshops, it offers an affordable, welcoming environment. User activities contribute to shaping its services, embodying the principles of collaboration, empowerment, and accessibility. Now, let's go back to Nuriki. Imagine if, instead of quitting, he had found a place like Working Space Madrid. He would have found a community of peers. He could have shared his skills, learned from others, and felt valued. He wouldn't have just been an employee. He would have had been a co-creator of his own work environment. That's the power of this model. And this brings us to a key point. How do we prepare people to not just work in the spaces, but to build them? The answer isn't a traditional lecture. It's about experiential learning, using methods that feel like co-working itself. Adult learners thrive when learning is self-directed, experience-based, and relevant. To teach design and collaboration, We must use methods like project-based learning, case studies, and role-playing. A core part of this is co-creation, which starts with understanding the user. That's why creating user personas is such a critical first step in designing a space that truly serves its community. Personas are fictional characters created from research that represent different types of people. Personas allow you to move beyond assumptions and gain a deep understanding of what different members truly need. To create a persona, think of Nuriki, a fictional character that was given a name. In the same way, personas are assigned demographic information such age, name, job title, descriptions, and afterwards their needs, challenges, motivations, and personality are created or deducted. Personas are used to look at specific problems. For example, based on a persona, you could ask what this person needs to thrive in a co-working space. Nuriki, for example, needed flexibility. So when designing a co-working space, we would need to keep this in mind. You can find a template for persona creation in the learning roadmap. In Module 2 of the Rework VET Resource Kit, there are 3 hands-on activities that help you creating co-working spaces. First, we have the Creating a Better Space exercise. Your goal here is to simulate the user-driven design process. You'll start by creating a persona of a fictional co-working member. You'll think about their job, their goals, their challenges, and what they truly need from a workspace. Then, your group will design a co-working concept specifically for that persona. What's the layout? What services do you offer, like mentoring or community lunches? Who decides the rules? With the use of persona, you're not just guessing, you're building a space based on real human needs. The second activity is called The Future of Work, Designing Workspaces for 2040. This activity is about creative forward thinking. You will use a method called speculative design to imagine the future. Your group will receive a future scenario like a world with AI coworkers, a standard 4-day work week, or one adapting to climate disruptions. Your task is to design a co-working space that thrives and functions in that future. How does the design change? What new services are needed? This exercise pushes you to think about adaptability and social innovation, helping you prepare for a world of work that is constantly changing. Finally, there is a whole workshop plan from idea to impact. In this longer, more comprehensive session, everything is tied together. It simulates the entire process of planning a community-led co-working space, from creating personas and defining values to designing the space layout and planning community events. This workshop puts you in the driver's seat. You will practice project planning, collaboration, and creativity, ending with a pitch for your unique co-working concept to receive feedback from your peers and maybe adapt your design. It's the ultimate exercise in learning how to not just use a co-working space, but how to build one from the ground up. So to recap, the world of work is changing. Young professionals are demanding more autonomy, community, and purpose. Bottom-up, user-driven co-working is a direct response to this need. It's a model built on shared values, where people are empowered to co-create the ideal work environment. So ask yourself, what if your classroom was run like a co-working space? What if you were a co-creator of your own learning? That's what bottom-up teaching and working looks like. Thank you for listening. We encourage you to dive into the activities and start building the future of work today. Goodbye.